Hey, Badminton World, it's Jeff here, Henry over there. We're from Volant, the Badminton podcast, and you might know us from the Tokyo 2020 show. We're badminton players here to talk all things badminton, including the 2021 Denmark Open. Henry, there's going to be some pretty tight competition, I think, in Denmark. What are your thoughts?
I think let's cover the different events and firstly looking at the draw.
Mixed doubles?
Let's go through what our key matches are, our predictions, and who's going to win the entire thing. So who's your key match that we should look out for?
So looking to the draw, like just kind of adding it all up and seeing who I think is going to win each round. I think that there's a quarterfinal match that's really exciting for me. It's Lauren Smith, Marcus Ellis versus Sapsiree and Dechapol from Thailand. I think it's going to be really exciting because the English beat them at the Olympics, but then we haven't seen them beat them before. So I think it could be a bit of a revenge kind of match for the Thai pair. I do think they're going to win that match, but the English, it depends how they play.
Yeah, I think they had to play each other in Group B of the Tokyo 2020, right, to get out. And historically, all of their games have been in straight sets prior to the Olympics, all to Sapsiree and Dechapol. And then we get the English pair winning at a crucial moment at the Olympics. Obviously, not knocking out the Thai pair at the Olympics, but they did beat them. So I do think that I think that the Thai pair are going to come out on top in this one as well. They are looking quite solid.
I think it's really related to how well Dechapol is playing. So if Dechapol's playing well and he's flying around the court and playing really, really fast, then they're really strong. But if he loses a bit of confidence, I feel that he's probably the one that can bring the performance down of the pair. I think Sapsiree is probably a little bit more stable than him.
I think you also think that the Thai pair are going to win the tournament, right?
Yeah, that's what I said before. I still think that's a possibility. If Dechapol's flying around and doing what he does, I think they've got a good chance to win. Of course, they've got the Chinese, so Huang Dongping, Wang Yilu. And then we've got, of course, your favorite pair, Higashino and Watanabe. But yeah, maybe it's time for the Thai pair to win something.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that one, Jeff. But I think we have the gold medalists, Wang Yilu, Huang Dongping. Obviously, very challenging upper quadrant there with the Netherlands pair, French pair, as well as Tang Chunman, Ziying Sweat from Hong Kong in that sort of upper quadrant area. But like you said, Watanabe, Higashino, my favorite pair. Watanabe doesn't have to focus on men's doubles now. So I'm actually tipping for them to win that one. But of course, we have Higashino, who's actually going to be focusing on women's doubles as well. So there'll be a diversion of focus as well.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of that, we've got Higashino playing with Fukushima in the women's doubles. So if you look at the draw there, they're going to play in the second round. They're going to play the Koreans, Kim and Kong, which obviously is going to be a huge test for them. But what are you thinking?
I'm thinking in a pressure off environment, it will be very interesting to see this scratch pairing. I wonder whether or not we're going to see the angel of badminton, Higashino, doing jump smashes from the back of the court, or just controlling and attacking that front net that we always see her do so well at.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the winners? So who's going to take home the Denmark Open title in women's doubles?
Look, I think, going back to Kim and Kong, Higashino, Fukushima, I think they're going to win that match. More so because I just really want them to. No statistical reasoning there. I want them to win. But I think that the pair that's going to win the actual the women's doubles is going to be Chen Jia Fan. I think it's their turn. They have been playing pretty well, and I think they're going to win this one.
I think they're a pretty safe bet for winning, but I'm going to go with Arisa and Yuki. And that's just more because I want them to win. And I love the underdogs. I love it when two players play together and then they can do something amazing just in their first tournament. So hopefully they can take the title. So if we move over to the men's doubles now, we've got Li Yang and Wang Qilin, Olympic gold medalists. They are probably going to play the bronze medalists from Tokyo, Aaron Chia and So Yik from Malaysia. I think these two pairs are probably the pairs that are in the best form in the men's doubles event at the moment. So I think that's going to be a do not miss match.
Yeah, I agree. I think in the past, we've probably been a bit harsh on So Yik saying that, as long as the men's doubles pairing can find So Yik, then
target him.
they're likely to come out on top. But he has been playing really well as of late. So I think it's going to definitely a do not miss match. But if we're seeing the Wang Qilin and Li Yang as of late, it'd be so hard to beat them. And that's why I tipped them for winning the tournament as well.
Yeah, I'd say that I would tip them to win as well, the Taipei pair. And yeah, I love watching Wang Qilin hammer down those huge smashes. And then Li Yang just in the front court, teleporting around. He's so quick. And they're just driving. They just
unbeatable.
drive everyone.
Unplayable, right? Yeah. So how about we move on to women's singles? So Jeff, women's singles, what do you think? What shouldn't we miss?
So I'm really excited to see Ratchanok again after Tokyo. She probably will. We're just making predictions here, right? So she'll probably play He Bingjiao from China in the quarterfinal. He Bingjiao has got a 5-1 head-to-head ratio against Ratchanok though. So I think that's going to be a do not miss match. But even though I do really want Ratchanok to win, I think that He Bingjiao might still win that one.
I think that the glimpses of incredible performance from Ratchanok as of recent times makes me feel like it's time for her resurgence. Obviously, she's been on circuit for such a long time. She's such a graceful player to watch, really enjoyable. But I think that she's coming back into really strong performance. So I would think that if she doesn't get run down by Bingjiao, she's in it for a chance. And I'm also tipping her to win the tournament. It's a bit unconventional. Yep, wow. Bit unconventional, but yeah, I think that it's Ratchanok's time again.
Well, I think I'm not sure about that because while she can play really well in, say, a match, I think the overall fitness over the duration of a whole tournament, I think she still does struggle a little bit with that to win the actual title. But let's just say against Bingjiao, if she is able to play over her shots, we all know that technically, I think she's probably the second best technical player in women's singles in the world. I think Tai Xing's number one, but I think Ratchanok's number two, and she's got really good variations and shot quality from the rear court. So I think that if she can use that against Bingjiao, she can win. But I'm thinking for the title, it is a Yamaguchi resurgence. We haven't seen that much from her recently in say the last 1 to 2 years, but in say 2018-19, she was dominating. And I think maybe it might be her time to step it back up and start winning some titles.
Yeah, look, I think that's a fair call. She is playing really well as of late. And if all things go well for our predictions, say Intanon and Yamaguchi, they're likely to meet on their way to the finals, right? So they have quite a long history together. But yeah, I think if Intanon meets Yamaguchi, it's going to be a challenging one because she would have beaten Bingjiao in probably a long match, and then having to play against a retriever like Yamaguchi would be a tough one for her.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, let's go on to the last event, the men's singles. So I think the big one here is the potential quarterfinal lineup. Got Victor Axelsen, home favorite, of course, being in Denmark, versus Malaysia's favorite, Lizzie Jia. This is a rematch of the All England earlier this year. What are your thoughts on that one?
If things go to plan, which hopefully they do, Lizzie Jia is going to win this one. That's my thoughts on it. I'm liking the way that he is playing at the moment. He's in really good form, and the level of maturity that he's showing on court is very good. I think physically, he's the perfect matchup for someone like Axelsen. And I feel that his front court, although you always see Axelsen showing videos of him practicing net rolls, right? But I think Zijia's front court is better than his. And the way that he takes his drop shots quite high and the slice drop into the front court of Axelsen, I think Axelsen has a lot of trouble retrieving that.
Yeah, interesting you said that. I think Zijia's probably more natural at front court than Victor, but I think Victor's front court is pretty awesome. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's not going to matter that much because Victor's probably going to be thundering his line-hitting missiles, like the line-seeking missiles from anywhere in the rear court like he did it in Tokyo. So he's got the home ground advantage. He's got the home crowd. So I think that Axelsen is going to take home the title. But we do have some tricky rounds, don't we? So Axelsen has to play Shi Yuqi first round. And we know that he beat him pretty convincingly in Tokyo, but I think that's a very dangerous first round. We've got the two Danes. We've got Gemke and Antonsen up first round. That's a really tricky one as well. And then we also have a potential quarterfinal rematch of the Olympics. We've got our favorite, Kento Momota, versus Kwang Hee from Korea, who beat him in Tokyo. So I think that the men's singles is going to be really interesting to see who actually gets through.
Yeah, look, it does depend on whether Kwang Hee is going to get through. Of course, his other opponents, as well as Christie on his way to Momota. It will definitely be very interesting if it does end up in that sort of situation. And, you know, we haven't seen the best of Momota back yet. Look, I think to win the tournament, like you said, with Actress and Zijia, it's whoever's going to come out of that match on top, I think, is going to win the entire men's singles. But yeah, that upper quadrant, I think there's a lot of interesting matches.
This is just a theory I made up on the spot, but I think that Kento, once the team kind of pressure comes off, like in the Olympics, I feel like he was playing for the whole country. Like, even though it's an individual event, it was very much a team felt thing. But I feel like as we go into some individual events now, maybe the pressure is going to be a bit lower, and maybe you can play a bit more freely instead of being a bit stiff and uptight.
I would love to see that myself too, Jeff. So fans, if you're interested in tuning into the Denmark Open and following the news and results, make sure you check out the BWF channel. And if you're not sick of Jeff and me talking and predicting and sharing our thoughts, then make sure you tune in to our next show.
See you then.
See ya.